Welcome to the Genuinely Curious podcast. I'm your host, Shantiana Keys, here with Stylist extraordinaire, Amadi Brooks. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be here. I feel like this backdrop is like a perfect vibe for you. I feel like
it is. I immediately noticed the Tyler, the Creator, and I was like, okay, vibes.
Okay. Are you a Tyler, the Creator fan?
I do like Tyler.
Okay. Did you watch him when he headlined Coachella? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
I'm not like a big fan.
Oh,
but
okay.
I have been to his concert before when he came to Atlanta. It's like probably one of the best shows I've seen.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
so
he's
that's
an entertainer.
I was shocked. I was shocked at how good he was because his music is not always my vibe.
Right.
His
fair.
persona, not always my vibe. But I was very entertained the whole time. So
like I only knew a few songs when I went to go see him live, but like I said, I'm just a fan of him.
Right.
More so.
Yeah.
And when I went to the show, I was like, oh, excuse me.
Right. Okay.
Made a bigger fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you are, like I said, stylist extraordinaire. We can see it from the outfit here.
Thank you.
And I'm not gonna lie. And I saw your outfit last week. I'm like, you're not shopping at the same places that I'm shopping. So
You don't know that.
What I know is I got this from TJ Maxx.
Okay.
And I feel like this was me like gussied up for you. I was like, I can't just come incorrect, but also know it's like very basic. But I'm a basic dresser. That's like a part of
But that's not
part
a
of the
problem.
vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
Basic is okay?
Basic is okay, but it's as long as it's you and then you're expressing yourself through it. Because I feel like this isn't basic. This is expressive.
Okay.
Everybody's not pulling off a like smiley face sweater.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, I
feel
try.
like, but it fits your personality.
Okay.
That's what I like about style.
All right. So yeah, let's get into that. Like, what is your approach when you're styling or your clients are asking you to come style them?
I really like to make it relational. It's a personal experience, you know. Style is so much more than just like, oh, I like pick out cute clothes. But when you're talking about being someone's stylist, we're talking about brand, we're talking about image, we're talking about how they present themselves to the world and how do they see themselves. So getting to know them on a personal level really helps me to dive into like, okay, which direction I'm gonna go into. So it starts with a consultation. Like we get on a call, I'm asking like almost like a little questionnaire to know what you like, what you don't like, what's some of your style inspirations, what are your typical go-tos, where do you usually shop, like the in-depth questions as far as like personal style on how you already are. And then we dive into like, well, how do you see yourself and how can I help you, and what is your like gaps, what are your pain points right now? And then we kind of develop from there. And I mean, even within the time working with somebody over a period of time, if it's not just like a one-off situation, you learn them. They change, and then you learn like, oh, maybe we need to go more in this direction. I thought we were going in this direction, but now that I know you a little bit more, let's pivot and like go this direction. You know?
All right. So how does that work with? Obviously, we know that Asia Wilson is one of your big clients. How has that worked? Because you've been with her for a little while now. So how has her style, I guess, changed? And I guess like what kind of influence have you had on her own like personal feeling about clothes?
So me and Asia have been working together for about a year now.
Okay.
We started at the beginning of last W season, and Asia is just such a personality in herself, and she's very sure of herself, and she knows she already had her own sense of style that she had before we met. So I think what me and Asia bring to each other is a collaborative effort, you know. So yeah, I'm bringing pieces that maybe she might not have thought of, and like how can we take your, like, she loves the 2000s and playing odes to the 2000s. That you
I noticed that mini skirt. She loves a mini skirt.
We love a mini skirt. We love denim. We love a jersey dress. You know, combining the sporty and girly, throwing on a heel, things like that. Those are things that are already Asia. It's kind of more so on me to bring new pieces and make it unique and elevated, and that's how we kind of work. And I've noticed throughout the year, like I learned a little bit more about her. We're able to take a little bit more risk than maybe I would have taken at first. And, you know, it is a collaborative effort for sure. Conversations happen.
So what is one of those risks that you've taken with her that she's been like, okay, I wouldn't have thought of this, but I'm willing to try it because I trust you. Is there anything like that?
I feel like we have something coming up that's kind of like that I brought, and I was kind of like
not a teaser,
nervous. But I mean, it's still Asia. Like if you see it, you're still gonna be like, oh, that's dope. But it's just something that we haven't done before, you know. And so I think like knowing her and knowing that she trusts me a little bit more can be those moments, or like putting her in a color she doesn't necessarily like.
Okay.
Those are like the ways we push it. But for the most part, we kind of have a similar eye. There's not much that I'll bring that she's like, you know?
Yeah.
But there are some times where she's like, I don't know, Marty. I'm like, where? It's a look. It's a look. And
Right. Just trust me.
just trust it.
Yeah, there are people.
She'll do it. She can pull it off. She'll pull it off.
I just feel like she has this like confidence and this like aura about her that like whatever she's in, like she's
owns
she's
it.
going to, yeah, exactly. She's going to exude it. The clothes are not going to wear her. So,
Exactly.
all right. So where does your journey with style and fashion start? Because obviously I know you through basketball and you
Right.
playing with my sister, but when did style and fashion become one of your passions?
So I will say I didn't like officially dive in until I was a sophomore in college.
Okay.
That's when I actually
But were you
declared-
always somebody who like liked
it? I mean, I grew up watching Project Runway, and like
Okay.
I would make little outfits for my dolls outside, like with scrap fabric
Okay.
and socks and things like that. So I've always liked it. Interestingly enough, in high school, I said I was gonna be an interior designer.
Okay.
That's the route that I thought I was gonna go. Leading up to school, I kind of got steered away where people around me were saying like, you're so smart, you took all these advanced classes, why go into design? You can be a doctor, you can do whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do sports medicine. I'm always hurt, so like
I'm always
hurt, so like let me help the other girlies that are hurt, you know? No. So I can't even hear somebody say they twist the ankle the wrong way without me being like,
Listen, my declared major going in was athletic training. And I
Exactly.
got to the point sophomore year, I was like, I don't like blood.
Right.
I don't like any bodily fluids. Like, why would I do that to myself?
Right.
But no, I get that. Okay, so sophomore year, college, what kind of change?
what shifted.
Yeah.
So my summer going into that sophomore year, you know, when you're in school and you're doing the summer workouts, I took this career exploration class.
Oh, we didn't say that. You were a basketball player.
Yes.
Yes, a D1 athlete. Okay. We
Yeah.
didn't mention
So
that.
like between workouts, I was taking this career exploration class, and it sounds so like niche, but it literally was every day we would go in there and do like these quizzes and surveys about what to match you up with a career. And it was
Every
just,
day. Okay, that's a lot.
right. And I mean, maybe I can't remember. It was, you know, in college, it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday situation.
Right.
But
I mean,
yes,
listen, multiple times to take the test is a lot.
it was
but-
a lot of tests. It was a lot of tests, but it was all about you.
Right.
And it was like literally me and 3 or 4 other people, and I was the youngest person in the in the class. It was a whole bunch of adults at the time. I was like 18, and everything just led back to fashion, interior design, and all the things that I already knew. And so I officially declared my major as like apparel design and merchandising. I went the merchandising route. At that time, just knowing like, oh, okay, I kind of want to be in fashion, but like I'm learning the different careers that are in it. Like at that time, I didn't know. I thought fashion was just like you're a designer or you're a model.
Right. Yeah.
And I was learning like, oh, like from store displays to e-com to buying a line for a store, being a buyer, learning all of those things.
Right.
And so at that time I was like, oh, I might be a buyer, or I might do like merchandising for a sports company. That was my thoughts.
Okay.
And then fast forward, I'm still thinking that post-college, getting my master's, I got my master's in sports administration because I was like, I'm going to combine my 2 passions, and I'm going to
You
know
went back to school?
I was still playing. I started my
see.
master's
Okay.
while I was still playing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to know the sports side of fashion, the business side of sports, and then combine it with fashion. Ended up getting an internship, not an internship, but to being a styling assistant for a stylist. And she took me to WNBA All-Star when it was in Vegas. I think that was like 2018, 2019. She did a style suite with some of the W players and media analysts, which LaChina pulled up, Ari pulled up, Odyssey Sims, like it was Cheyenne Parker. And that was my first time, like, okay, like putting clothes on an athlete and on a body, like intentionally, and getting paid for it.
Wow. So the beginning, yeah. Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's clicking. This is what
Wow.
I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to figure this out. This
Yeah.
is what I'm going to do.
Okay, so what was your first job? I mean, you did that.
Yes.
You were assisting. What was the first job where you were the lead stylist?
First job, like, that I got paid for? Because, okay, so I was, between that moment, I still worked multiple jobs in between that and where I am now.
Okay.
So I was working with the Atlanta Hawks while that was happening. I was in ticket sales, so complete opposite.
Yeah.
And then I started, I went into the executive assistant role with Serena Williams.
Something like that. Okay. The GOAT, no big deal. Yeah.
And she knew that I had interest in styling, and she gave me the opportunity when it presented itself to style. So I can't pinpoint what exactly was the first moment, but like first big moment was I think we did a Fast Company magazine cover, and
Okay.
I styled her for that, like just me.
Listen, I'll just tell you, I just geeked out at the Goodwill because I found a 1999 U.S. Open bucket hat.
Oh, dope.
Her first slam that she won.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping I get it signed at some point. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm going to the ESPYs and she's hosting, so I'm like, don't let me catch you
That's
in the hallway,
dope.
Serena.
Right.
Yeah, no, but okay. So Serena Williams, obviously that's not light. So what was the jump between Serena to now styling the WNBA players?
Worked there for 2 years, had other opportunities to style too while I was there. And, you know, in between, I was doing little side off gigs with my friends that were in the business. So like Chloe Pavlik, like she was like my first person that took a chance on me.
Right.
So that was like from
at the
jump.
time was what, Overtime?
Yes, when
And
she
then-
was doing
okay.
overtime and doing a lot more media stuff, that was the person I was styling on the side. It was super low. I wasn't posting about it, but
Yeah.
that was like how I was kind of getting a feel for things.
Right. Some experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after I was, I moved on from working with Serena. The first person that hired me was LaChina
Okay.
Robinson.
We love her here.
We love her.
We absolutely love her.
We love her. So she was the first person that hired me, and we started working together. And I want to say that was 2022. And at that time, I was still living in Florida, so I would fly up to Atlanta and
Oh, wow.
put things together. And that was like, okay, it's happening. And I was still working part-time jobs between that time. I was a kickbox trainer. I was doing athletic.
Kickbox trainer. You can kickbox or you
I
was
can
just...
I can kickbox, but it's not like competitively. I'm not
Okay.
sparring.
Okay.
It was like this. It was this gym called 9 Rounds. So basically, it's like a kickbox cardio hit workout.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm leading those classes.
Gotcha.
So I know the basics.
Yeah.
I can tell you the basics. I can teach you the basics. I'm not about to fight nobody though.
You're like, I've watched Tybo.
But if I-
I've watched Tybo before. Have you
Right.
seen Tybo? Are you old enough
yes,
for Tybo?
I know what
Okay.
Tybo is. But I had to take my little classes. I had to take
Okay.
classes. I had to do online courses and
Oh,
everything.
okay,
Yeah, no, like
shoot.
I'm not saying I haven't fought nobody, but if I needed to, I got the skills.
Wow. Okay, so what would you say are some of your fashion inspirations? Like, if somebody had to style you,
Oh,
okay?
Okay.
We'll put it that way.
yeah.
Who would you pick to style you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I have like so many names flowing through right now. I mean, I don't know about other people, but I think the goal would be for Law to style me for like a red
Law.
carpet or something.
If
That-
if he's coming out of retirement for anybody, you
For
know, it's
anybody
like,
else,
you're right.
I know. But, who knows? Maybe one day I'll put it in the air. I'm
Yeah.
a big person about putting stuff in the air, so I'm going to put it in the air.
What is it
Magazine
about-
cover, red carpet, something. That would be like the dream.
What about Law? Like, what do you, I guess, admire or would you appreciate for him to style you? Like,
I just like his vision. I love the storytelling he does with his pieces and how he styles his clients. It's very true to the client, but it's high fashion. It could be edgy, but it still stays true. Like the clothes are never wearing the client.
right? Yeah.
And like I said, there's always like a theme or some type of storytelling. And to me, that's how I look at it, that I see within his styling. And I just would love to see how he sees me and how he would want to style me. I feel like my style is very fluid. My personal style is very fluid.
Okay.
So I would love to see what he would want to bring out of me.
What are some of the words that you would attach to like your style?
Um,
I mean, besides, I guess fluid being one of them.
Yeah,
but-
fluid is one. I would say sporty. Because, I always do a sneaker. I'm always in a sneaker. I
Okay.
have foot surgery, so ain't no heels over here. So
Okay.
I'm pretty much in a sneaker majority of the time. But I love to mix men's wear with women's wear. I love to go oversized on women's wear. Like, I love to add a hat. Like, I have a button up and this leather piece on, but like I'm bringing it in with dress pants and a snapback and some
Right.
shells hose. So it's, like I said, I think fluid would be the biggest word. I'm not super colorful, but I love the details.
Okay.
I love the details, like bringing in, color from other pieces, bringing in the metallics, bringing in the rings or things like that.
I saw something on social media basically and it was just a side by side, somebody saying like people wearing the clothes versus like styling the clothes.
Right.
And like that's exactly the thing where I feel like in my own life, like I miss that. It's like, sure, I'm like, oh, this is cute. Like I put it on, but there's no like style element. So like jewelry and all that stuff, or bringing it together with a certain type of shoe versus just like a plain shoe or whatever. What do you think is the most important aspect of like styling that will take you from just like you wearing the clothes to styling?
For me, the way I go about it is like the way I go about it on my body versus a client's a little different.
Okay.
Like I'll take more risk of like making a shirt into a skirt and, or wearing a shirt backwards or things like that.
Yeah.
That maybe the client might not feel comfortable doing that or feeling like as confident in doing that. So those are the ways that I'll do it for myself. For a client to make it more like versatile or for that feels true to them, it might just be, okay, we're adding texture. We're going to add texture.
Okay.
So instead of just the outfit being solely as the outfit is, let's throw an element in it that we wouldn't expect. So like, let's do a fuzzy purse and then like, let's tie that back in with the shoe that matches the fuzzy purse or, little tidbits like that keeps the client still comfortable in their zone a little bit without tossing them to the wolves, but like it elevates the look from basically what they would have typically done, which is like a black purse and just like, oh, I'm gonna do a black sneaker, and it's like, oh no, let's do a big purse and like, let's make it fuzzy, and then like maybe let's add a fuzzy hat, and then like or maybe if you don't usually do a heel, let's throw a heel on with it.
Okay, so are you doing that to be like memorable? So like obviously you're styling usually for like events, right? So we're talking about the draft, we're talking about like a ESPYs or something, like you're styling somebody for that. Are you trying to, I guess, stand out? Like you want your client to stand out? Do you want it just to be a talking point like the next day? Like, I guess what's the motivation?
It depends. For me, it's client based.
Okay.
You might have a client that their goal isn't to stand out and be the talking point. And, and so you have to kind of respect that in a way. I like for an event to do something that stays true to them because I think it's so obvious, like we talked about, when the clothes is wearing a client and it's not their style, their personal style, it shows. It shows. And so I like something to be true to them, but also incorporate something that they like, because when it's something that's like an event, you want them to have that thing is like they feel like they still kind of had a part in this a little bit. That's how I like to move about it. So I think it's more so client-based is what I would like to say. It's like, depending on the client's personality is how I move with the look. If it's like, oh, we going to make people talk.
Right.
That might be my client that's a little bit more outgoing and more of an extrovert. For my client that's reporting versus an athlete. Right. You don't want the reporter outshining the athletes that they're interviewing.
Right.
So,
no, that's a good.
So kind of staying mindful of that. Like, I can't put you in a full sparkly look, and then you're just outshining every athlete that you're interviewing on the carpet.
That makes so much sense.
So like those type of things. Depends on the situation, depends on the client. Okay.
And one of the big, I guess, more memorable, like recent outfits was Sid's like black hairstyle, it was a two-piece, right?
Yeah, it was a set from Sheila Rashid.
So how did that come to be? Two, like, I guess, what was the inspiration? And then what is, like, the significance of it for you?
Okay, so Sheila Rashid, she's a designer out of Chicago. She's so dope. Me, Sid, and her have a relationship together because she's contacted Sid directly to get her in clothing. We've connected about getting Sid in clothing and just her brand. And so we like her as a designer. We like the pieces that she puts out. So we just like to support her. So that's the basis of it. But I think this time around when she came out with this hair collection, because it's actually a whole collection.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a whole collection. But this piece was like, I think the statement piece of the collection. Like, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything done like that. And I think also to do something as kind of like witty and like different as that, you got to have the personality to carry it. And if we're talking about personalities, we're already
right. Yeah.
Sid is personality. Sid equals personality. So I knew that, we would obviously get Sid and Sheila Rashid at some point this season, and we actually had something else coming up, and it didn't actually happen. So we were like, Sheila made sure she got it to us in time, put it on Sid, and we were like, oh, it was just a little too big. You know, Sid has petite frame, and we got it tailored, and we were like, nah, let's do this for Tunnel. We got to do this for Tunnel. And so from that point on, I was like, we got to go 90s accessories and like little O's to the 90s. Of course, it was like a game day. So, of course, I wanted her full 90s hairstyle with the spritz. That's what I wanted.
Oh, my God, curls or something?
Yes, that's what I wanted. But obviously, like, we're talking like game day.
Right.
So, anyway, so what we did, we added like a little hair clip that, you know, we used to wear in the 90s. The acrylic cube clear case. I feel like there was so much clear stuff, 90s, early 2000s, with the shades, the early 2000s type of style of shades.
I love the like early 2000s vibe.
Same.
Even though, it's
it's so nostalgic, but also like it's still a look, like, regardless. I know it's become trendy again, but I think the right person can pull it off at any time, even when it's not trendy, quote unquote. We tied it in with like a little Juicy Couture. Remember the little Juicy Couture necklaces where there's like little chain necklaces and a little heart, and then you link them?
Oh, yeah.
So I literally put her in my one from like middle school or like high school.
Digging it from your archive.
Yeah. So I was just like, let's go all the way out with it. And Sid, I posted in my little feed post about it. The last game we did like a sneakers t-shirt type of vibe. And she was like, next game we're doing heels. And I'm like,
okay.
She was like, they ain't gonna know what I am.
Oh, God.
So I was like, this, you know, she liked to play. So I'm like, this would be the perfect segue into the next look. Like, we threw it in there.
Okay, so you said that, you know, Law is one of your inspirations.
Yeah.
You use this black female designer for this look. Is that something that's important to you? And also, well, actually, I'll ask that question. Is that important to you?
Very, very important to me. Like, it's almost one of the things I work by, live by.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to highlight black designers, minority designers, smaller businesses. I don't even like to use that. That's why I put that in quotation. But businesses on the come up, I'll say that.
Yeah. Love that.
Because you have a platform and use it for something. Just like somebody opened the door for me to be a styling assistant and see something, and it sparked all other different type of avenues and career goals for me. I like to do that with my platform, and like I do luckily have clients who are down to support that, like not just my W clients, but like my NBA client Bam Adebayo. He loves supporting black business or small businesses on the come up. But Sydney is super intentional about it. Like, we do it all the time, even if it's not something that's talked about. We literally do it all the time. And that's just very important to me. I feel like we have to support each other. Like, that one opportunity can get you.
Right.
You don't know what it can get. Asia's look for ring opening night was also a young black designer named Heaven Jarrett. I mean, the look has been on Vogue, Harper's Bazaar.
That was the red one? With the leather and the denim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, she's 23, 24.
Wow. That's huge. Okay, so, and I brought up Law because there was that big conversation about the fashion houses, the big, fashion houses that wouldn't.
That's tied to me, so I felt that so strongly. And the timing of it was so perfect with stuff I was going through personally, because that's how I feel, interestingly enough, it's shifted within the last year. I mean, I'm reaching out to the PR companies and I'm getting those. Consistently. Consistent notes. And, it's a networking game. Like, fashion isn't just like, oh, I'm just shopping online, I'm just going to find, like, cute things. Like, you want to be able to expand the brands that your clients are wearing, and not also always want them to have to pay for it. Yeah. So when I'm reaching out to some of these PR brands, like, they just weren't, I'm selling. I'm linking links. I'm listing accolades. I'm doing all of the things. I'm typing up the emails, and they're just like, I'm sorry, we can't support it this time, which is okay. It's fine.
But it might be a no forever. But also, okay, so the no's is it because they don't want to dress W players? This is like,
I think they just don't see they didn't see the value.
Okay, is this before all the
That's why
online riffraff? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Like, I'm talking about this time last year.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
This time last year, I'm emailing, reaching out, and getting those. This time this year,
got you.
They're emailing me. I'm trying to keep up with it.
Okay, so talk about that. What has the shift been like? in the W?
It's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in on the side of like the eyes that are on the fashion side and the tunnels. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that was what initially sparked my interest into wanting to combine my two worlds of fashion and sports. Was initially still styling. It was, I think I was looking at the orange carpet before that was like when I used to televise the orange carpet before the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And I tell this story all the time, but it's just so amazing how God works and how when you put something out there in the universe and you do your best, things will align for you. I was literally at the sports bar with my family and we were watching a carpet, and at this time, this is, if it wasn't just as fashionable as it is now, people weren't feeling comfortable enough to express themselves in that way.
Girl, we're going to get to that. Yeah.
And so I was just looking and I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is happening right now? Like, I know on a day-to-day basis they aren't dressing like
No.
this, and they're doing it because they feel like they need to because it's this TV and it's a carpet, but it's not exuding who they are.
Right.
And also, these are some beautiful women or tall women or marketable women.
Right.
Why aren't there like fashion brands or people already jumping on this? Literally said it out loud, and my dad was like, "You can do it. I don't know, you can do it." And like I said, there was so many things that fell in place for that 2019 All-Star moment to happen, for everything to click for me. But like I said those things a year prior to that, So now to see the eyes that are on it and see how much attention it's getting, and to also be getting attention for it as well, like as my as the addition that I'm adding to it and being a part of it and being a part of the growth is so surreal. Like it almost makes you emotional because that's nothing but God,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it seems like the tunnel fits and like this aspect of it has helped in terms of marketing, has helped in terms of brand. I mean, you have to have a brand for somebody to want to market you for their products. And I just feel like for women's sports, this is a game changer. And I think people think it's frivolous. Some people, right? Like, why are we talking about their clothes when they're going out on the court? And my thing is, like, I think pop culture and sports, that's where I thrive, like somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And I just feel like if there is a differentiator between women's sports and men's sports, why couldn't this be the thing? I mean, women are the biggest consumers in the world. They are constantly ingesting social media and branding and fashion all the time. Like, why can't this be an element of our game that is valuable?
You would think that it would be hand in hand automatically.
Right, yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that it's just like, oh, it's just now happening. You would have thought it would have been the opposite. Like, brands would be wanting to get women in their clothes. But obviously we understand marketing and how it works in media. So it wasn't, to them, it wasn't deemed worthy at that time.
Yeah, not
like,
valuable enough for their money,
for them. But now I think it's just such an easy grab. It was such a gap there.
So
and I'm like,
easy.
how can we fill this gap? And so knowing that fashion is what's helping to fill that gap, because it's deeper than just the clothing. Like,
for sure.
Hair's done, makeup's done, edges is laid after the game. Nails is done.
The lashes are done.
Right, because they're
so
not
many
wearing
missed opportunities.
strips.
You're right.
They're, you know what I mean? Like, they're getting their lashes done.
There's just so many missed opportunities, especially, and I think NIL, when we played, that was not a thing.
Right.
That's totally revolutionized, I think, women's sports in a lot of ways. And, it's just a matter of time, I think, before a college athlete is backed by like a major brand in terms outside of sports, right? Like, it's just a matter of time for that. I did want to talk about the WNBA draft and the evolution of that as well. I mean, you talked about they're throwing them up there and things that they're not comfortable in.
Right.
And the dress code has changed now, but I guess even more so, even if you were to just allow, because I can remember years ago, I'm sure they were styling themselves and like the outfits still weren't cute. Like they were probably expressing themselves, but like it was a win because it looked like something they wanted, but it wasn't always great. I'll say that. Okay, well, let's put it that way.
It wasn't always a win.
It wasn't always great. But what have you seen over the last couple of years in terms of the styling on the carpet and like the confidence of the women and maybe their marketability after?
It's been a major growth because I feel like they finally feel comfortable, whether they use a stylist or not.
Right.
they feel like they can be their most authentic self. And whatever that looks like is completely up to the individual.
Not the box set suit from JCPenney.
Right.
Because I was sick of seeing that. There's that picture.
But I heard it was like a dress code, you know, like they had to be in a suit.
And I get that. but even so then, like, there's a suit that you could find for Asia right now that would have still fit the bill probably. That looked better than those boxy 2000s.
But that's where a stylist can come in, because it's not something that's just innate.
Oh, no.
You know, so like
100%. Oh yeah.
So, and also you think about the body of these
True.
women.
Yeah.
They're not standard sample size. They're not, a lot of them aren't off the rack, and if they are off the rack, we're the physique. We're talking about built.
Right.
So we might be stacked on the bottom because we're muscular and curvy, but then the waist is snatched. So then that means you need a tailor or a seamstress, you know. So I think with the schedule of an athlete, plus the lack of inclusivity in brands and their sizing, plus the time that you need to go shopping, then to also turn around and make sure a seamstress or a tailor can make it fit right. It was just all a recipe for you get what you get.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's where I think a stylist is beneficial, not just for the aesthetic and what we're seeing on the outside, but for the peace of mind. It's something that you're not worried about. It gives you more time on your plate. And it's also something that it affects your confidence. I always talk about look good, feel good, play good. I know it's like a Deion Sanders quote, but like it's something that my dad grew up saying to me and that we kind of lived by on and off the court. Like on the court, my dad tried to make me a little hot dog. I'm talking about a shooting sleeve, matching the headbands to the you. Oh, you remember the little infinity sneakers where you used to change the colors of the like infinity symbol, like they came.
Oh my God, I had a pair. I don't think I could like switch it out though.
Yeah, but they had like the little the color swatches you could switch out. So I'm swapping the colors on a consistent basis.
You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. So, and he said that's how he grew up playing. He played college football, and so he like would always like personalize his towels and personalize his arm sleeves, leg sleeves, and things like that. So in college, when I was in graduate school, actually, I wrote my thesis on the physiological and the psychological connection of look good, feel good, play good. There is connections. So that confidence that's being exuded is more than just like, oh, the outfit is fine. It's more so like this player feels good, and they're going in there with one less thing on their mind because they know they feel good, they look good. Yeah, they're about to go in there and do their thing.
It's funny you say that, and it's funny we're having this conversation. One, I've been like overhauling my entire wardrobe because I got stuff from like freshman year of college still in my closet. Same. And so I'm just like throwing out all this stuff, and I have like nothing left. But I will say I've had to dress up multiple times. The event I saw you at, and a few times lately, and just like the reminder that like, because I wear sweats to work. I wear sweats in my day-to-day life when I'm at my house. And I just like forgot like how valuable like feeling like you look good does for a person. But I think it was an important point you made about, you know, putting people in things that they don't want to wear. Like there are so many draft photos I can think of or interviews at the draft where somebody's in a dress and like, you know, somebody forced them into that situation and like they just didn't look comfortable. And I just feel like now we've seen so many different looks. It has really, I think, freed is not the word I'm looking for, but yeah, just allowed a lot more expression. Like it doesn't have to be just a suit. It doesn't have to be a dress. It could be a short dress. It could be a long dress. It could be a romper. It could be so many things that I think allowing these women to be multifaceted. Whereas before it was like, everybody's in a suit. This is what we expect of these people. Everybody's in a dress. This is what we expect of these people. And now we're able to see different sides and different style elements with these women. But okay, let's move as we wrap up. What is your dream styling opportunity like? What client, I guess, would you love to style for an event?
When I get asked this, I always stop. I have people in my mind, but I always stop just because, like I said, I'm just very intentional about what I put out there.
Right.
But for whatever reason, and I know the reason, and I know she has stylists and people that she works with, but I think that me and Meg Thee Stallion
Wow. I could see
make
that.
something shake. And that's just because I think her build, I think
Yeah.
we're around the same height. So
Yeah.
I'm 5'11", and she's curvy. And I know what it's like to do
Yeah.
style women that are curvy and not the standard size. She's fun. She's young. We're around the same age. You know, like I just think
I can see it.
you know, and I know she's been going through a rebrand, and her and the stylist that she has worked with it, I think they're doing a good job with this new rebrand. So definitely not trying to
right swoop in.
yeah.
No.
But yeah, no, for sure. I think that she's an amazing personality from what I know, from what I've seen. I like the energy that she exudes.
And she's got like an athletic brand now. Not that you're like stuck in
but
that.
she is athletic. I mean, let's talk about it. You know,
her build is athletic, but also like that's like, again, you said her rebrand. Like fitness is a big part of that. So
exactly.
Yeah, no, that.
And she just exudes confidence.
Yeah.
And she's just fun.
Like and just like doesn't care. Like
it's
like.
And then she's open to doing different things. Like I loved when she went to. I want to say she went to Japan and was doing, like her looks had like nods to anime and like Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And like her most recent videos is kind of like anime themed and again nods to Japanese culture and superheroes, etc. So I'm just like, yeah, she just seemed like she would be fun. It would be a fun project.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
All right, my last question. What things inspire you besides clothing? Like what things in your life are inspiring you that allow you to kind of do the work within your styling, I guess?
I just pull inspiration from a little bit of everywhere. I know one thing that keeps me going is my family and my friends. So like, you know, I'm always working. I feel like I'm always moving around. But when I have an opportunity to be home here in Atlanta and like hang out with my people, like my people,
Your people,
y'all
yeah.
know who you are. It's so grounding and refreshing, and it helps me. It kind of gives me like a jolt of energy in a way. My family, as much as they've supported me, like styling is a grind, and it is not, you know, it looks glamorous from the outside, but you know, it's a lot of work and a lot of faith, you know, to take a leap and start your own business and only be doing that. So, you know, supporting my moms and my sister and to be back home, to be able to do my dream and have them support me in any way they can, whether it's taking me to the airport or sister stepping in as an assistant for the day, you know. So, like, that inspires me to keep going. As far as, like, creative inspiration and expression, I kind of just am inspired by what's around me. Like, anytime I'm back home in Atlanta and I'm just out, on like in the city, whether it's like in little 5 Points or like walking through the mall, like I feel like I get a little inspired there too, just seeing how different people come together to express themselves through clothing. I'm chronically online, so it's almost exhausting.
I know, it's ridiculous.
But I get so inspired just by what I see. Like, what are the people posting? What are different stylists doing? What are some new, like, what's the new fashion trend? I don't consider myself super trendy to where I follow whatever the trend is, but I love to incorporate little aspects from a little bit of everywhere. I think that's how my style presents itself. I work with a lot of different clients and personalities, so I think I genuinely love the fact that I can pivot no matter who the client is and what their personality may bring. You know, like Jackie Young, we're kind of in a little rock star phase.
Yeah.
I think you said that before. Yeah, we're in like a little rock star phase.
Yeah,
you know?
I did my power rankings. I got to do it for this week.
Yeah, so we're there, and then, you know, Asia's completely, you know, opposite of that, and then Sid's completely opposite of that, and so, and then you have my reporter clients like Autumn Johnson, or when I was working with LaChina Robinson. That's styling a reporter versus styling a tunnel is completely different. Different rules.
For sure.
You know, all of the things. So I just like really pride myself on being able to express that through clothing, no matter what the personality or the client is.
Yeah. Well, Amadi, this has been fun. I'm so glad you could join me. Yeah, first podcast?
First podcast.
Hey,
Thank you.
love that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, it's
adventure.
What'd you say?
I said congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Just like you said, like starting your own thing is like, I mean, it's a difficult undertaking, but when you feel like you're called to do something, like what else is there to do? And I feel like that's what I see in you, and that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. But thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I will be coming to you for styling when I can pay you for that. I said that. I said that when I saw you last year, and I mean it.
Look, we can talk, girl. You got me. You did my first podcast, and you've always supported, so we can have conversations. Just let me know what you need.
All right.